Hello and welcome to my showcase video of the Dimachaeron for Tyranids for Warhammer 40,000. Now, it's very rare that I create these showcase videos on the channel. It's usually when I've finished painting a model, fully completed. I will give you a full tour of the model. I'll go through some size comparisons and I'll go through the rules at the end, just to make it a more kind of full, complete video rather than just me talking about the model on a pedestal. So you may have joined me in multiple live streams where I've painted this Dimachaeron over good number of hours. Unfortunately, you can't buy this Dimachaeron from Games Workshop or Forge World for that matter anymore. When I picked it up well over 6 years ago now, it must have cost me about £95. I would expect it to cost in today's money probably between 140 and 150. The next sized model, this is the largest Tyranid model I own. I do not own a Tyranid Haradan, which is temporarily out of stock at the moment on Games Workshop's web store, but also I don't own a Tyranid Hierophant Bio-Titan. Tyranids are not my main army. Of course, Imperium is my main army. That includes 11 Titans. So you understand why I don't own a Titan for Tyranids. The next kind of largest model after the Dimachaeron that is available at the moment is the Norn Emissary or Norn Assimilator. They're both the same kit. I'll do a size comparison right now. Here is the Norn Emissary. One of these costs you £74. It's a shame that we don't have a Tyranid Knight equivalent model, but if you were kind of looking for a Dimachaeron and you couldn't get one anymore, the Norn Emissary would be your closest sort of Tyranid model that's in plastic that you could probably get at a discount somewhere, cheaper than the £74 that it currently costs. Then below that, you've just got the Trigon and the Hive Crone for about £60 or so. So the Tyranid army is lacking in big creatures, big monsters. While we're here doing a size comparison, I might as well show you a Gene Stealer that I originally painted in these colours right here. I went for spraying it in, I think, white colour. Then I shaded it in the just a normal blue, and then I picked out all the highlights in like an ice blue, painted the carapace pieces in purple, the bones or the claws I've painted in black, with some grey sort of highlights for the points and the sides of the blades and things like that. But they're the kind of three colours that I've gone for: the blue, the purple, and then the black for the teeth and the claws. They're not really based off of any particular hive world. That's the beauty about Warhammer, is usually you're able to just create a hive world, create a chapter, just paint these things in whatever colour you wish. If I was going to pick some kind of hive fleet that it would sort of resemble, although there isn't much of a focus on different hive fleets in 10th edition as there was in 9th or 8th edition, I would probably say they have their origins in Hive Fleet, Ouroboros, or maybe even Hydra. I think in 9th edition you were able to pick a Hive Fleet and have special rules and things, sort of based on being part of that. Whereas 10th edition focuses on certain detachment rules, like an Invasion Fleet or Crusher Stampede. And that's kind of like the origins of the paint scheme. I wanted them on a very snowy ice world, and these Tyranids, can just obviously survive there. I don't know how much biomass and things they're able to consume on this ice world. Maybe there are some big, beasts and things on there that they consume, because they're just, they're not prejudiced at all. Any kind of biomass they will consume and gather up for the high fleet. So let's have a look at some of the details of this Dimachaeron. As I say, it took me quite a while to paint it. It was a lovely model to paint and also to build. Actually, the hardest part was the tail, this joint here. You've really got to get it right. You've got to file it. You've got to, make sure that it never breaks, because that would probably be a weak point. I like how the legs and the feet are anchored to these two scenery pieces. They go quite well with the model. Of course, I put some tufts of grass, and I plastered the top of the base with Strickland mud to give it that kind of mud effect under the snow. There is grass obviously kind of popping out of it. Not sure whether that was needed, because you can't really pick out the the texture of the mud under the snow. It probably would have been fine if I just painted the top brown, so I might do that with my future Tyranid models. None of them are really going to have a bigger, as big a base as this, really. Even the Norna Simulator, as you've just seen, has a big scenic part to their base. And of course, I've painted this masonry kind of metal coloured, but there are some rocks and rubble around there too. The purple, I've gone in this Drakenhof Nightshade, I think it was, with some gene steeled purple for like some of the highlights, as you would on the armour of it. I really like this area of the model where it will just grab creatures or space marines or whoever into its sort of claw chest cavity and just munch on them, really. The eyes I've done in this sort of red colour, and then varnished them so they kind of pop. And I've also sprinkled some snow on the top of the carapace. I didn't want to go overboard. I could have put snow on the arms, I could have put snow on the tail, but the way I see it is this part, these plates don't really move that much, whereas there wouldn't be any snow on the chimney where the sort of heat comes out, and also there wouldn't really be much snow at all on the tail if the tail was sort of moving about. So I've tried to just isolate the snow in an area where there wouldn't be that much movement. It's not as flexible as the rest of the creature. So there you go. The beauty about painting is that you are happy with the model, no one else. So for me, I'm got to a point where I was happy with how this model's come out. It takes me a long time to paint, and if I'm not happy with certain parts, I will just spend a forever amount of time trying to perfect those bits. So this was the biggest Tyranid model I've painted. I'm looking forward to painting the rest of the Tyranid force, and of course I'll bring you showcases of those. As a little bonus of this video, of course, I mentioned I would go through the rules for the Dimachaeron. They do exist in some places. So I will just go through them. I'm not quite sure whether it is a heavy support choice, but I think it most likely would be. It will cost you 200 points. It consists of one Dimachaeron and is equipped with massive scything sickle talons. The stat line reads movement of 12 inches, toughness 10, save of 3+, 16 wounds, leadership 7+, and objective control 5. And it has an invulnerable save of 5+. So normal 3+, invulnerable of 5+. That toughness 10 is very hard to beat, 16 wounds there. Now it's melee weapons, these massive scything sickle talons are twin linked. You've got 10 attacks, weapon skill 3+, strength 9, AP -2, damage 3, straight up damage 3. So that's horrific, it's charging in, 3+ to hit, 10 attacks. It's really going to do a lot of damage to things. Abilities, it has Deadly Demise D6 and Synapse. It also has Digestion Spine, which is, I think, specific to this model. Each time this model fights, after it has resolved its attacks, if one or more enemy models excluding vehicle models, were destroyed as a result of those attacks, this model regains up to D3 wounds. That's fantastic. You know, it's got 16 wounds already, but if you're destroying models, you're adding, probability-wise, you know, 2 or more wounds per kill. Damaged, when it has between 1 and 5 wounds remaining, each time this model makes an attack, you subtract 1 from the hit roll. So that means it's going to be hitting on a 4+ if it only has between 1 and 5 wounds. Keywords: Tyranids, and then detachment ability, hyper adaptations, enraged behemoths, questing tendrils, synaptic imperatives. Keywords: Tyranids, monster, great devourer, Dimachaeron. I think it's a great model. There are some rules available for it in some places. Unfortunately, you can't buy it anymore, which is a shame. I would like to see it come out in plastic, but judging by the price of the Northern Emissary, you'd be looking at a minimum of between £90 and £100 for this one. I would like to see this in plastic. I would like to see new, bigger Tyranid models as well. Hopefully Games Workshop expand the range. It's one of my favourite Tyranid creatures, big creatures. It is the showcase of my Tyranid army. What puts me off getting a second one is it's not really posable. You know, the tail only goes one way. The arms, you can move them a little bit, but then the feet are, you know, sculpted to those bits of scenery as well, which I suppose you could kind of hide under a load of snow, but getting a second one, it would be difficult to make the changes that would set it apart from the other one. What do you guys think of the Dimachaeron for Tyranids? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be good to hear from you. Thank you for watching. For the Norn Queen.